Hello, and welcome to another news update, a nerdy news update. Today, we are going to do three stories. First is there has been development in the Pahalgam attack. Turns out the people that earlier they thought did the Pahalgam attack were not the people who did the Pahalgam attack, and there is new updates the NIA has given it. There is some shadiness that is going on there. We're going to talk about that. Then the second is there is this big report that News Laundry has put out from Devendra Fadnavis's constituency and how the voter list has been manipulated. So we're going to cover that one as well. And the third update is going to be the Iran-Iraq ceasefire. It's still an ongoing story, that one. So we will try to cover as much as possible in that. Not in detail, but as much as we can. It will be heavy with opinion this time because I have a lot to say about that. So that's there. Also, guys, I've heard your feedback. There will be time codes niche. So all the three updates will have time codes. So you can skip to the one that you want to see. And you can skip the other ones if you're not interested in it. Please feel free to go around, switch it, watch one first, the other later. However you want to watch it, you do you. Also, just a tiny reminder, please subscribe and also please consider joining because you get exclusive access to these recordings which we do. This is a live stream right now as I record this, and these are members who are watching this live, and later it will be put out for the public. So Tuesdays and Thursdays we do members only live streams, so you can join those, you can chill with me, we have funs and other things, and they get exclusive live updates. Do you want an exclusive live update? Then watch the stream because I'm not going to tell you. Okay, without further ado, let's go with update number 1. So finally, there is some movement in the Pahalgam terror attack. Finally, because till now it was just like, what is even going on? Where are the terrorists? Where did they go off to? Because NIA has given a update. It says that NIA arrests 2 for harboring Pakistan terrorists in Pahalgam terror attack case, gets identities of the elite attackers. In a major breakthrough, the Pahalgam terror attack case, the National Investigation Agency has arrested 2 men for harboring the terrorists who had carried out the horrendous attack that killed 26 innocent tourists and grievously injured 16 others. The 2 men, Parvez Ahmad Jothar from Balakot, Pahalgam, and Bashir Ahmad Jothar of Hill Park, Pahalgam, have disclosed the identities of the 3 armed terrorists involved in the attack. Parvez and Bashir had knowingly harbored the 3 armed terrorists at a seasonal dhok, which is a hut at the Hill Park before the attack. 2 men had provided food, shelter, logistical support to them on the fateful afternoon, selectively killing terrorists on the basis of their religious identity, making it one of the most gruesome terrorist attacks ever. NIA, which has arrested the duo under Section 19 of the UAPA, is further investigating the case after the attack that shook the world on 22nd April. Now, the thing is, if you were like just a casual consumer of news, you would be like, oh, good, NIA doing good job. If you were the BJP IT cell, I have seen they have already started sort of playing up this angle. Both of these people who have been arrested are local Kashmiris who gave support to the elite terrorists, according to the NIA. So, of course, they'll be like, acha, ye hai tumhari Kashmiriyat? Sort of nonsense they have started, which is propaganda. But what nobody is really talking about is the immediate aftermath of the attack that happened and the 3 images that they had shown, because they were completely different people. So, this is what is happening really. So, Congress has put out this tweet.
पहलगाम में हुए आतंकी हमले के बाद मोदी सरकार ने 3 आतंकियों के स्केच जारी करवाए.
So, I'm not going to play the clip. I just wanted to show you the 3 sketches that came out. So, turns out, right after the attack, these 3 people were the suspects, according to the Jammu and Kashmir police. Now, Jammu and Kashmir police directly reports to the Home Minister, who is Amit Shah. Okay, just clarifying in case you don't know. So these 3 sketches were put out. Now we find out And there is an Indian Express report on it, which you should also read. No local, all three Pahalgam attackers from Pakistan, concludes NIA after arresting 2 for sheltering terrorists. This is the update I gave you. Before the NIA arrested the 2 locals for allegedly sheltering the attackers, the agency had questioned more than 200 people, including pony operators, shopkeepers, and photographers. Now, according to this report, these 3 people who you see here, you know how they got their sketches? So there was an attack in December in Kashmir. There was a confrontation between the army and some militants, and one of the operatives, the militants, died. His name was Junaid. That was in December 2024. They recovered his phone. They found 3 photographs in his phone. Those are the 3 people. Think about it this way, right? So Pahalgam attack happens, horrifying attack. Everybody is asking ki why the hell wasn't there any security? How did the terrorists go away? So clearly the government was under a lot of pressure. J&K police then comes up with this bright idea. They took the phone clearly, took these 3 photos and then made sketches out of them. You would assume when they show sketches, what would you assume? And which I assumed, which the whole world would assume, that the witnesses, the people who were there, were the ones that described these 3 people who were there in the attack, because that is why you do the sketch. Otherwise, why would you do the sketch? But instead, now we found out that this sketch was actually based on photographs from a phone. This was an outright deception then. They had no answers. They were caught with basically supremely unprepared, J&K police and also like other agencies and the army. And they came up with this. This is so ridiculous. Like, why would you do this? Other than to hide the fact that you have been extremely incompetent in protecting your own citizens from an external attack. Now, 2 months later is when NIA is doing all of this. There were no updates till this point. In fact, our lovely S. Jaishankar had said something which I think should be reminded, which you should be reminded of. This is when S. Jaishankar had given an interview to a Dutch news agency. This is what he had said.
So, sorry?
Did you catch the ones that murdered those 26 tourists?
I think we were able to identify who they were because there were pictures of them. The attack, there was a body which called the Resistance Front, which took responsibility for that attack.
Mm-hmm.
There were pictures of this. And I think at some point he also said we released like sketches of these people, etc. So he knew. He knew there were pictures, he knew there were sketches, and they were just looking for random people at that point of time. Essentially, that was the thing that was going on. If you were to believe what was going on, either they went after extremely random people, or they just released these sketches and they were like, now people will figure out kya karna hai iska. Anti-woman here is asking, why didn't they just release the pictures? I know. I was also wondering, why didn't they just release the pictures? And also the pictures were recovered from an already dead militant's phone from December. So I don't know they don't know who the people were. The terrorist is already dead. I don't know if that information is even valuable at that point of time. But it's so confusing. You're right, Anti-woman. Like, I mean, why didn't they just release the pictures? Why did they have to turn it into sketch? It's really sad, friendos, because I think this whole thing, post-Pahalgam thing, has taught me a lot about how incompetent this government really is, right? And it just keeps piling on top of each other. Now we find out that these sketches were released and they were of wrong people. NI is doing its job, sure. I mean, it is expected. But why lie? Why lie to the public like this? Second is they did Operation Sindoor, which, sure, you attacked like a bunch of terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan, etc. Then there was like a minor war that started, a conflict that started. And then a US president announces ceasefire. And then uske baad diplomatic disaster after diplomatic disaster. We had sent all these people, the 50 people we sent, our MPs on delegations to the US and other countries to fix our image, to put up our stand. Guess what? They were going around with these sketches. There have been reports. There were literally videos I have seen which ANI posted, so I can't show it to you. Of our diplomatic mission pe jaane wale MPs, all those MPs, they were showing these sketches, saying, "Oh, we have identified them." They had a whole dossier prepared on this. They told the entire world. And then uske baad, just immediately after these people came back to India, the army chief Munir, Pakistani army chief, was invited to America. He proposed Donald Trump's name for Nobel Peace Prize. Donald Trump keeps equating India and Pakistan and keeps saying that he's the reason for the ceasefire. I have to say this government is extremely clueless at this point of time. I have no idea what is going on. I think neither do you. But this is an absolute all-around disaster at this point of time. Update number 2. News Laundry has put out this report. I highly recommend you go read it. I'm going to give you some details about it, not all of them, but I highly recommend you go and read it. It says in 6 months, Fadnavis seat added 29,219 voters. Poll staff claims lapses. News Laundry found thousands of voters without addresses in Nagpur Southwest. EC spokesperson insists electoral roll is absolutely pure. This is a story by Subeda Mittal and Vishal Vaibhav. So please do read it. I will leave a link below as well in case you want to go and read it. So as you are aware, TLDR, Rahul Gandhi has been bringing up this again and again that the elections in Maharashtra were rigged. He had put out a questionnaire, he had put out an article in Indian Express only last week, which I had also covered in the Nerdy News Updates, where he asked a few questions, mostly about, voting percentages. Why is there more people coming in after the voting ends? He asked about the increase in voters. According to him, there is like a 40 lakh. The data shows actually that there was a 40 lakh voter increase between the Lok Sabha elections and the Vidhan Sabha elections. In that update as well, I had told you this, that you can do all the data gathering you want. You can run like statistical tools on it. You can make Excel sheets and make your arguments, which practically is what Rahul Gandhi is doing at this point of time, like the meta analysis of an election. But what really is impactful is if you go to the ground, find these new voters and see if they are legit. Now, this is what News Laundry is doing. What they found is that there was a 29,219 voters that were added in 6 months right before the elections in Devendra Fadnavis's constituency, right? If you see the margins here, so 2019 Devendra Fadnavis had 1,08,000 votes. Congress candidate had 59,698 votes. And then suddenly in 2024, 127 and 626, and Congress share has also increased 88,515, right? Now the interesting thing is, random checks in 50 booths by News Laundry pointed to at least 4,000 addresses with 4,000 voters with no addresses. Though it is for the Election Commission to probe whether there were bogus voters in the constituency. The running theory, which a lot of people have been talking about, is that the rigging part of it is not in the machine, the electronic voting machine. That is a no-go. But there is some shadiness that is happening in the voter rolls. In just 6 months between 2024 Lok Sabha elections and the Maharashtra Assembly polls, Nagpur Southwest, the seat held by BJP leader Devendra Fadnavis added 29,219 votes, about 162 voters every day. That's a sharp 8.25 increase, more than double the 4% threshold that triggers mandatory verification checks under the Election Commission's own guidelines. So what usually happens is that every election they add voters. I mean, that's just obvious, right? There are more voters that are added before every election. But usually if it is below 4%, That's the average. So election commission guidelines say that if the additions go above 4% or the deletions go above 2%, then it triggers a mandatory verification. What that means is that there are block level officers which are going to the ground and verifying every new voter to see if they actually reside in the address, etc. Then above them is a supervisor. So under them there would be like 10 to 12 block level officers. Then above that is the district office, the election office, the DEO, right? And the AERO, right? Which are two election commission offices. The DEO is in charge of the elections and the AERO is in charge of maintaining the voter list. So those are above that. And then of course there's the state level election commission. Then there is the national level election commission. What has to happen is that if the increase is above 4%, it triggers a mandatory check. So all the BLOs are asked to go and check 5% of the new voters to check if their addresses are right. And the supervisors are also asked to check 1% physically by going there. Okay. The district office also has to be involved in this checking. So that is triggered. That mandatory check is triggered. Now what happened in this case is that this didn't happen. They didn't do the checks. They just let it go. I really like the reason why I am insisting you read this report is because this is exactly how journalism should be done. News Laundry actually went out to find these BLOs in the Nagpur Southwest constituency, which is Devendra Fadnavis's constituency. They say they reached out to over a dozen BLOs whose booths witnessed the wildest spikes in number of votes, ranging between 20% to 58%. So some booths not only had like a above 4%, some booths had 20% and 60% increase in voting. Imagine that. So it should have triggered like a mandatory. It should be like everybody should be checked at this point of time. But no. So to check if thorough verification was carried out by them, 6 BLOs, including 5 who spoke on record, denied carrying out the verification process, while the rest either refused to speak or did not respond. See, SP Nagavanshi, booth number 174 says, this time the district election office had received applications from over 300 voters. I have not signed the application form of the new voters. I have only registered 8 or 10 new voters. Only the district office could answer that. On polling day, I was shocked to see voters that I have never seen or even heard of turning up at the voting. BLOs, again, I'm telling you, booth level officers literally visit every new voter. Every voter. They come before elections also to ask if there are any elderly voters there who needed transport, who need help going to the booth, or who need voting at home. That is their job. So they visit every voter. They know them by face. And this person is saying, I was shocked to see voters who have never met. But on that day, it is not the BLO's job to verify voters before letting them vote. Here is Sandeep Karode, who is another BLO. He say from booth 76. It saw an additional 30%. The district collector's office had received applications for these voters, which were handed over to us to verify. Again, the district collector's office, of which we were able to verify only a few. When we visited the addresses, their neighbors told us that these people don't live here. We informed our supervisor about the same, so they would know about it. Another one, Ganesh Jarwar. During the ground verification, I could not find the addresses of voters because many had given wrong addresses. It is a big problem for us. Even their voter ID cards were returned. Then the district office handed over those cards to us to distribute to the voters. I checked again and could not find them, then returned those cards to the office again. See, when you register new voters, the election commission sends out the voting cards. The voting cards were returned once, then the BLOs were asked to deliver them by hand. They couldn't find them, so they were returned. Just imagine what is going on. This is damn shady, boss. I cannot. This is just damn shady. Look at this. Maya, supervisor to BLO, this is the supervisor, so above the BLO, said that it is true that abnormally high voters were added in comparison to previous elections, and a probable reason for it could be the State Election Commission had run some programs in colleges to encourage students to register themselves to vote. When asked if 365 new voters were added to just one booth under her charge were college students, she replied, I have no idea about it and only the BLO could tell that because we rely on them for ground verification. So the supervisor is saying BLO is responsible. The BLO is saying no, actually supervisor ko pucho. And then it gets passed up to the district office, the collector's office and the DEO. So who is responsible here? Exactly. Everybody is just like no, हमने तो क्या मतलब, we just assumed कि ऊपर से आया है order तो हो गया होगा verification. It's freaking fraud here. Fraud is happening here. We don't get time for it. We are busy with our main job ahead of this election. I was mostly busy with helping above 85 years to cast postal ballot votes. Supervisor to BLO Sandeep Karode Modghare said that he does not know the reason for the spike in voters and only district office would be able to answer it. It is unclear how voters with no addresses are creeping into the rolls. Again, see, this is another thing that came up, which is some of the forms, addresses were left blank and they still got voter IDs. How the hell does that happen? Tell me, how does that happen? In addition to this, we also found electoral rolls of constituencies replete with voters without addresses. A check on 50 booths randomly selected for this report revealed there were at least 4,393 voters with blank address columns. Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of anyone who got a voting ID when their form is blank? That address in their form is blank. How does this work? Where are they supposed to go? How can you even prove that that person is from that constituency? For example, booth number 107 had 290 voters, 21% with untraceable addresses. This is insane. Insane. How is this happening? The election commission really needs to give some answers at this point of time. And you know what's worse? Rahul Gandhi tweeted this report out, right? Rahul Gandhi tweeted this report out with the news laundry thing, which I already told you. And of course, guess who responds? Not the election commission, Devendra. Why is Devendra responding? I don't understand. The election commission is the one that should respond, but Devendra responds. And of course, his whole thing is that, Arey, you have lost the elections. No, that's why you are salty, right? Other than that, he points this out, which is very interesting. Look at this. By the way, for your information, there are more than 25 constituencies in Maharashtra where voter turnout increased by over 8% between the Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. Congress won in many of those places. West Nagpur constituency, adjacent to my southwest region, voter turnout increased by 7%. And Congress candidate Vikas Thakre won the election. North Nagpur, voter turnout increased by 7%. Nitin Raut won from the Congress won. Pune mein, same thing. Sharad Pawar won. Malad, 11% increase. Congress party's Aslam Sheikh won. Mumbra, voter turnout increased by 9%. Jitendra Avhad won. Tell me something. Regardless of who won, this man is outright admitting that there were increases in all these constituencies. Right. So are we to assume now, based on his own constituency, that this happened everywhere? Because if it did, then that's damn shady, isn't it? It's very shady. And this is one of my biggest complaints with political parties like Congress and regional parties in general. News laundry, a freaking 50 people organization is going to the ground and doing this reporting. Rahul Gandhi ढिंडोरा पीट रहे हैं काफी टाइम से. Sanjay Raut is also like rigged election for a while. They have 27,000 registered booth level workers themselves, which is the Congress. They could have easily done this. They would fan out all across Maharashtra. They would do videos, they would record this, and they would expose the election commission for what it is doing. It took a 50 people independent news organization to get this report out. And please tell me, Rahul Gandhi is tweeting this out now. You couldn't do this. And also this, what is this garbage response that is being given? They should go to these constituencies also, honestly. They should find out if these constituencies were also fake voters, because fake voters without addresses is a bigger problem than who freaking won. That cannot be an argument. It just points out that our voter rolls cannot be trusted and the election commission cannot be trusted. So it's a bigger issue. Devendra Fadnavis answering these questions makes no sense to me. Chor ke dadi mein tinka hai, friends. It's true. Immediately responds, this man. Immediately responds. It's like he's in defensive mode ki yaar, ye khatam kyun nahi hota yaar? Khatam kyun nahi hota? Then another thing that the election commission did which makes it extremely shady, additionally shady. I had pointed this out earlier, which is the election commission has refused to give CCTV footage based on a case which happened in Punjab and Haryana High Court, when it was ordered to give CCTV footage of both these elections to activist called Mahmood Pracha. Didn't give it. They changed the rules saying that CCTV footage will not be supplied for election monitoring purposes to citizens. Now they are saying that they'll just delete the CCTV footage in 45 days. Earlier, the rules had said that you had to keep the CCTV footage for at least a year. Now they are saying we will delete it in 45 days. Why? Why? They have not given reasons. They have just given stupid ass reasons about misuse and narratives, and people are spreading misinformation. That is not the reason to bring in this rule which says that 45 days mein delete kar denge. Like the way to essentially assuage questions, and if they are alluding that Rahul Gandhi and other parties are spreading misinformation about the elections, is to release the footage. If they're so sure that the voting roll is pure, as they have told News Laundry, they should release the footage. Instead, they're deleting it. That's like a smoking gun right there. It is just becoming shadier and shadier as the days go by. I am extremely stunned by how crazy this is getting. And I am extremely scared for the Bihar elections now. Yeah. Because going forward, in the Bihar elections, I feel like every party, which is RJD, Congress, should keep a really hawkish eye on the number of voters being added. They should literally use all of their ground workers to just go out and find the people. Just that. Find everyone who has registered new. Find out. Do videos. Show it to people. Show it to people. If this is happening at such a scale, which is this 40 lakh floating voter theory, which is that there is like this floating voters which are going from state election to state election and making the BJP win. If that theory has to be proven, which I think might be legit at this point of time based on what I'm seeing, then they need to go out and fan out and actually do groundwork and find out if voters are real. Because this is going to happen in Bihar again. And if they know that this is going to happen in Bihar again, and it happens again, then it's on them. Then it's on the opposition parties, honestly. Because then it just means that they lack the imagination and the wherewithal. No, not wherewithal. They have all the ground workers and money in the world. They just lack the imagination and even the courage to do this. So yeah, we will see what happens in Bihar elections. But yeah, the hope is that something happens in Bihar elections. This is damn shady, boss. And the election commission must answer. Update number 3. In case you are out of the loop, I'll give you a TLDR of the Iran-Israel conflict that has started. USA was doing a deal with Iran for nuclear reasons. They didn't want Iran to develop a nuclear weapon, so they were trying to negotiate diplomatically with Iran to accept a deal. While the deal was going on, Israel decides to lose its shit and starts bombing Iran. They sent 200 planes to bomb Iran. Then Iran retaliates with its own missile strikes. It starts bashing Iran with one missile after the other. Turns out the Israeli defense system is not that great. So some missiles actually end up in Tel Aviv. And then they continue the barrage of missiles. Israel also fights back, so now it's a proper war. It's going on and on and on. Israel's stand is that Iran is developing secret nuclear weapons in this place called Fordo, their nuclear facility. And the only way to stop them is if America uses bunker buster bombs, because it is deep into a mountain and America has the capability of these crazy planes called B-2s, which would drop like these 15,000 kilo bombs onto a mountain, which will burrow inside 60 meters and then explode. Only America can do that. So Israel was like, America, we want you to do this. We want you to do this. Donald Trump at that point was like, will we do this? Will we not do this? I don't know what I'm going to do. Nobody knows what I'm going to do. He also said he might or might not assassinate the supreme leader of Iran. That is there. Meanwhile, Israel also decided to bomb their major broadcaster, the state broadcaster of Iran. They continued the bombing. Iran continued the bombing back. And then suddenly, 2 days ago, we see that Donald Trump puts out a truth, not a tweet. He truths now. He says, we have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention. Basically, Trump decides to bomb, like the bunker buster bombs I told you. They used it using their B-2 planes. The giant bat-like stealth planes were used in this conflict. They dropped the bombs there. Apparently 6 bombs were dropped, which is crazy to me. Giant bombs. We still don't know how much damage has happened in the Fordo nuclear research facility / storage yard / whatever Iran had. But Trump basically said कि अब bomb हो गया, now peace. Now everybody please peace. Please हो गया, खत्म, conflict over. That is what Donald J. Trump said. This guy is a freaking madman, because now I think he's just gotten into the habit of announcing ceasefires. Because after that he said this. This is what he says. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. So the reading of this was, again, it's so confusing what he said. He said, okay, now we have ceasefire, but here is how it is going to work. Iran will stop immediately. Abhi, you must have some missions going on. ठीक है, you take like 6 hours to do this. Israel will stop after 12 hours. Which is so bizarre. It's like, oh yeah, Israel, you get more time. You get 12 hours to finish your missions. And 12 hours after that is when the war is over. So at this point, when I'm recording this, technically the war is over, but actually it's not. I'll come to that. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon 24th hour, the official end to the 12-day war. He's just calling it, he's named the war the 12-day war, will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side must remain peaceful and respectful, on the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage and intelligence to end what should be called, again he's saying it should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years. It would have destroyed the entire Middle East. God bless Israel, God bless Iran, God bless Middle East, God bless United States, or God bless the world. That's what a crazy Trump tweeted. Again, this makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. Also, this ceasefire, you know how it happened? Because Iran decided to retaliate on the Trump American bombing. So they were like, okay, we will attack this one base in Qatar. The US base in Qatar. So they told Qatar, they called up Qatar and like, guys, so we are going to violate your airspace and attack the US base. Then Qatar told the US that, acha guys, so there is an attack incoming. Iran fired a few missiles. America shot it down. Over. And then ceasefire. What the hell was that? I have no idea why that happened in the middle, but then this ceasefire. But guess what? Guess what? Israel be crazy. Now, we are in a situation, update 1 hour ago, explosions ring out in Tehran despite Trump's orders to Israel to stop the strikes.
Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, just hours after US President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said on Tuesday he had ordered the military to strike Tehran. That was in response to what he said were missiles fired by Iran in a violation of the truce. Iran denied violating the ceasefire. In that brief window on Tuesday morning, Iranians in the capital welcomed the ceasefire, saying it should have come earlier. Much of Tehran, a city of 10 million, has emptied as residents fled Israeli bombardment. Iran's Armed Forces General Staff denied that there'd been any launch of missiles towards Israel in recent hours. State television reported. Trump posted on Truth Social, "The ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate it." Shortly before the ceasefire took effect, the ceasefire is now.
Yeah, he posted this. The ceasefire is now in caps. It's like, ho gaya! Guys, stop! Stop now! Stop! Stop! Ceasefire! 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 Okay, I'm declaring it. Ceasefire! But it didn't stop.
Now in effect. Please do not violate it. Shortly before the ceasefire took effect, Israeli authorities said 4 people were killed when an Iranian ballistic missile struck a residential building in Beersheba. But both sides confirmed the truce. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel had achieved the goals it had set in launching its June 13th surprise attack on Iran, which were to destroy its nuclear program and missile capabilities. Iran says its nuclear program is solely for peaceful purposes and denies seeking to develop nuclear weapons.
So, in short, from whatever reports I have seen till now, what has been going on is that once the ceasefire was declared, there was a missile that Iran had already launched right before the ceasefire came into effect, their 6-hour window or whatever Trump had given them. That was the one that was going to Israel. That was the one that US shot down. Okay. Then Israel in the beginning of the ceasefire itself or around that time, they launched like a ton of missiles back and started bombing Iran like crazy. And Iran is like, what the hell, boss? What is this nonsense? Like, we are in ceasefire. Why are you attacking us? Whatever. And then Trump was asked, why are they doing this? And Trump had the most dramatic ass response ever.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
My. Donald is pissed off at this point of time. He's very pissed off. Very, very pissed off. Because he dropped the F-bomb. So, Trump tweeted this on June 22. Just look at the responses to this. Now, he's facing some domestic criticism, obviously. People are saying, ki, boss, why are you bowing before Israel? So the American people are saying that, boss, Trump, we voted for you so that you don't go to war. Instead, you are licking the arse of Benjamin Netanyahu. Bibi's arse is what you're licking, and it's like almost like he's the president of America now, and he's the madman who is just bombing Iran. He's doing whatever he wants, and you're just wagging your tail in front of him. So people are pissed off with Donald Trump. I have a few theories. I've been watching a few things in the past 5-6 days since the last update. And what is the end game here? What is the end game here? I feel like, as I have maintained again and again, that the people who are benefiting from this are the weapons industry. And the people who sell weapons to governments and the governments and the countries that manufacture those weapons. Okay. That is one. Of course, those are the biggest people who will benefit from this. The second biggest beneficiaries are authoritarian leaders, right? And I include Donald Trump, I include Netanyahu, and I also include the Ayatollah, the supreme leader of Iran as well in this. Here's how it will work. In Iran, now they have ended up solidifying the supreme leader's command over the population. Before this whole attack thing was going on, there were people inside Iran who were trying to, oppose the current leadership. They wanted a regime change. They wanted to sort of see like a change or a more democratic government to come in, etc. But now that this attack has happened from outside, they have coalesced support. So they essentially, now the supreme leader is like, oh, it is about our nation. Let us come together. Classic tactics. Look, the other people are attacking us. Let us come together. Israel. Netanyahu was in massive trouble politically inside his country. So he started bombing Gaza. He started doing a genocide in Gaza. He just went nuts there. Then he now starts a war with Iran because the Gaza thing is not working great. He's looking really bad. The world is turning against Israel. Even Trump is like, thoda sa idhar udhar kar raha hai. He's just like, America first, hum dekh lenge type situation. Netanyahu basically wanted a distraction. So he attacked Iran. Now he's claiming victory and all. But what Netanyahu really wants is regime change in Iran. He wants like a America and Israel friendly government in Iran so that they can exploit the resources there in the state. They can have free access to the Strait of Hormuz, which is a trade corridor which the entire world uses, which Iran can blockade whenever it wants. And if there is a friendly Iranian government to America and Israel, then they ensure that that is never blocked. Actually, nobody wants it blocked. Neither does China, neither does Russia. But that is one possibility. And the other thing is, we will be safe because Iran is apparently evil. Which I have started to doubt at this point of time. Looks like you guys are the evil ones. The third is, of course, Donald Trump. Now, Donald is like a reality show star. He's running his own reality show, right? Every week you have a new episode. This week it is the bombing of the ceasefire of the Israel-Iran war. Last week it was क्या था, flag pole day, I guess. उसके पहले he had a parade. उसके पहले he was starting an attack on Los Angeles. उसके पहले it was raids, illegal immigrants, deportation, whatever. Every week you get a new episode. Trump likes this. Trump wants the world to think that nothing matters, everything is chaos, and he can do whatever he wants. Right? So Trump, the way he benefits from this, I feel, is that he might want a civil war at this point of time. I legit think that this is something that Trump wants because that will just make his MAGA support stronger. And if this man has to change the constitution to get another term of the US doesn't allow more than 2 terms for a president, he will want a situation of chaos. I think he's trying everything in his power to push the US population into a situation where there is civil war or civil unrest at least, or he will cause like some crazy situation. The proof of that is what happened in LA. There was no need to send the National Guard. There was no need to send the freaking Marines. 700 Marines on your own city for a protest that was happening in 2 blocks. Are you serious? What was that? Now this. For all you know, I don't know if this is true. We will see. But for all you know, he will deploy troops in Iran because that will also help. Also, America likes giving freedom whenever it wants, if the regime change doesn't happen. I don't know. Maybe America will change its mood again. Maybe they will be like, "Ha, chalo, let's just do the war only. Let's just do it." We did it in Iraq once. They will try to assassinate the supreme leader also. There are many possibilities that can happen. So yeah, we're going to wait and watch. But all said and done, World War III. World War III. Thank you so much for watching these nerdy news updates. I hope you liked them. As I said, there were time codes there. I don't know if you use them. Why am I telling you in the end? Anyway, please do consider supporting, subscribing, liking this channel. I have released a video on the loneliness epidemic that is taking over India yesterday. So you can watch that. I'm doing essay videos every week, which are now nicely researched because I have finally a research and writing team. All thanks to these members. These members are the reasons why I'm able to build a team, I'm able to sustain this channel and try to give you better and better content. Also, I'm doing a podcast very soon. I have announced it earlier. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but the members know what it is because it is exclusive content. So yeah, become a member, attend these live streams, attend the recordings, chill with me, do the things because it supports me and the channel as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.